what exactly were you thinking? What were you feeling? What was it like? What was going on in your head? Write it down. On a separate piece of paper, we make them, this is part of the worksheets, 3 worst matches. It stinks to think back to your worst matches, but think, what was going on in your head? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were your emotions? And you make a list. And most people, most of the time, it starts to become predictable. In fact, too bad we're wrestlers and coaches didn't have the opportunity to do what we do, working with so many teams and coaches, because it becomes predictable. This is the thought process. When I'm wrestling my best, I'm thinking about my moves. When I wrestle my worst, I'm thinking about what my opponent might do to me. Watch is done. Watch is done. This kid's got, I'm on bottom, legs are coming in. I gotta watch the legs. I gotta watch the legs. So what do? I base out, or I try to seal instead of getting that movement off the whistle. Treating all matches, treating all opponents the same. I don't care who this guy is, I'm going hard, instead of treating opponents differently. Invariably, the wrestlers we speak to, they say they wrestle their best competition out of state. When they go to out-of-state tournaments, they wrestle their best. Why might that be the case?
They don't know the girl.
They don't know, they don't care who the person is, right? We might wrestle good people in our practice room or in our club all the time, but, you know, then we get in a match and we start thinking, hey, this kid's a returning state, he went to the States last year, he's a state qualifier. We're thinking about that as we're warming up for our matches. It's like you wrestle state qualifiers all the time in the practice room and at your club, but we start thinking about it. You go to an out-of-state tournament, you don't know and you don't care as much. You see that constantly. Consistent intensity, like Sammy Ensign said, as opposed to up and down intensity. Oh, you know, it's easy for me to get up for the match when I'm in the county finals. It's not as easy to get up for the match if, well, we're wrestling the scrub team Saturday morning, we always kill them, and we have a good team coming up next week, you know, next Wednesday, but it's only Saturday, this team stinks, everyone on my teammates aren't warming up, no one really cares that much. Your intensity has to be the same. That's when we see people wrestle their worst, when they have up and down intensity. You treat every match as important but not special. So as we said, special matches, you don't want to look at it as big or small. Thinking about making him tired as opposed to him making you tired. When we think about our parents, our coaches, our teammates, our family, our friends, our rankings, they wrestle worse. I'm telling you, it becomes like clockwork after you see it over and over. It's predictable stuff. If you tell yourself in practice, who here seen the practice room wrestler phenomenon? I lived it. You know, this person's a great practice room wrestler. Why? It has everything to do with what they're telling themselves. If you can get it done in practice, and you can hit moves in practice, and you can't hit it in a match, that's not a physical mistake. That is a mental mistake. What do people usually tell themselves in practice? What do wrestlers tell themselves in practice? I have nothing to lose. This doesn't count. It doesn't matter how I do. This doesn't mean anything. Right? Now, think about this. They're still trying to beat their opponent. They're still trying to beat their partner in practice, but they're telling themselves, you know, this doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything, I have nothing to lose. Then we get into a match. It becomes all about, I gotta win. I gotta win. I gotta win. If all I'm thinking about is winning, I might not take enough chances. I might not go for my scoring opportunities because I'm afraid that he might take me down. So, if it's working for you in practice, you want to keep doing it in matches. Don't change up what works. If you're telling yourself this is no big deal, it doesn't mean anything in practice and you're wrestling well, don't start doing it in a match. Building up the significance, what the opponent's ranked, who we wrestled, and thinking about what happened last time. Very important. Remember, the good word, put eyes in front of your head, not the back, so you can see where you're going, not where you've been. Okay? So you cannot let an opponent beat you twice. I'm not saying that in a literal sense, but if I lose a match in a tournament and now I'm in the wrestlebacks, I can't let that same kid beat me again the next match because I'm thinking about that match. Okay, I can't be thinking, our eyes have to be in the front of our head. Imagine driving a car. You have your license, buddy? No, not yet. What's good? You're going to have a hard time driving your car if you're looking through the rearview mirror. If you're looking through the rearview mirror, you're going to have a heck of a time going straight. So we lose a wrestling match, our eyes have to be in the front of our head, right of your mindset. So focusing on each one is a new match.